Hello and welcome to the Yet to Be Named podcast. I'm Anthony.
I am Dre Santos.
And I'm Leo D'Souza.
And today's topic is Kim Jong Un and Donald Trump, BFFs?
Maybe. Perhaps.
Maybe they. Maybe.
But you know what? We want to answer the question with more questions.
Yay.
That always.
That's always what's going to happen.
It's always good. It's always a
All right.
good thing to do.
Yeah, and it's a really weird and different conversation that we could be having about anything else, but we decided on Kim Jong Un and Donald Trump because they just went and met each other.
Yeah, because last week, what day was it? Let's say maybe last Thursday, Trump was in Japan for the G20 convention, and apparently he called up North Korea and said, "Hey, I am nearby. Why don't we just meet up? Can I see your crib? Can I go check out your country?" And
of course.
Trump went over there and visited. Was the first president ever to cross
The border.
to North Korea.
Which is
Historical.
insane.
Yeah,
Insane
that
and
was,
historical.
I'm surprised. Have you seen the memes of the bodyguards of Kim Jong Un and Donald Trump? How different they look?
No.
So Kim Jong Un has some younger guys, and then Donald Trump has this older guy. Who's,
Dude, but he's huge.
older. Yeah,
He's huge.
He looks like he could be part of the Boston, the Italian mob or whatever, and he could beat you up with one hand, just grab your head, squeeze it, and juice comes out. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow, that is
quite specific.
That is pretty crazy. Very, very graphic.
Yeah. So
You
this is
wonder what I think
important. This is important because this is what our kids are going to read in their textbooks.
Yeah.
You know? So
Or our grandkids.
or our grandkids.
Yeah, it depends on
Depends if the liberal.
How
I mean,
fast they
Scholastic is
speak.
pretty freaking slow in updating their textbooks, so it's gonna be a while. I think our great kids, maybe they'll be reading on their holographic textbooks about Kim Jong Un.
And also, it'll depend.
Yeah.
It'll depend if we're living in a dystopian future where facts are disoriented.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that
censored.
by then North
Good
Korea
point.
has taken over the world,
Yeah.
and we're all learning that our American roots are to be despised.
Or we just all go out and just be like, let's just nuke the whole freaking place.
All right.
That's not funny.
All right, let's get serious.
It's not funny. You don't. What the fuck? Oh God.
Anyways, let's get serious.
And then
first-
all that's left is cockroach people. And then the people
Cockroach
that,
people?
yeah. Have you
Cockroaches.
seen-
Just
and you know
cockroaches.
those-
There's no people.
No. And then
No, maybe what happened
they
is
start
that
standing up and whew, didn't know how long that would take, but man, it's been a long time.
You look like those
Waiting for that for
cricket
some
monsters from
time.
Rick and Morty.
yes, that is new humanity. After we all dissipate the humanity with nuclear war.
So
You remember the guy that dresses cockroaches and everything and plays house
Yes,
with them?
yes.
I wonder what those guys are thinking. Man, the trauma, man. We've been through so much.
Anyways,
all right. So
Let's get back
for all
on
you
track.
people who follow Twitter or social media, you know that Trump has a history of making fun of people, making threats on Twitter. The famous "My button is bigger than yours" directed at Kim Jong Un. Un. Fact checker.
We're going to actually fight over this. It's okay?
It's un.
All right, as he looks it up. So, do you think that this alliance or these meetings, do you think they are genuine or is it more superficial? So, I'll start with Anthony. What do you think about these meetings?
If you're asking me, I know how... Yeah, how do you say it?
Is the GoPro recording?
Kim Jong Un.
See? Told you.
What was it?
Kim Jong Un.
Kim Jong Un.
Told you.
Yeah.
No, you're like It's Kim Jong Un. Like,
Kim Jong Un, dude. But yeah, so if you're asking me, the way that I see it is that Donald Trump, the way he likes to put himself out to be is like a business person. Like he likes to work with other people. And I don't see that he sees this as a superficial thing. I think that he has intentions on building some type of relationship with North Korea, just like how we look at it with when he went and met with what's his name from Soviet Russia.
Vladimir Putin.
Yes. And but then like everybody just doesn't like it, so they put a bad name on it, and then everybody's like, oh well, now let's just question him. What is he doing? Like he's probably just doing it just for show and stuff like that. But I don't think so. I think that a lot of what he does is intentional, especially with like recently, like how he's been pushing other people to do something about whatever he wants them to do something about. He's been very intentional about everything. So I don't think that it's superficial at all. I think that he has some type of plan going through. It's just what is it? Like we just don't get it. We don't know yet. He hasn't like made a statement like, oh, we're gonna be doing this with North Korea, or this is the reason why I need to go and sit down and talk to this president or whatever. Because like usually we sit down and talk to, like, the president sits down and talks to other like allies, right, on how we can build something better, how we can defeat whatever enemy or help whatever disaster. But nobody really talks about like, or goes and meets like our quote unquote enemies or the people that oppose us because it doesn't make sense to them, or it's not popular to do that or whatever. So what he's doing is what he's always done is not popular. I think he does it out of intention.
As said by the famous Tyrion Lannister, we make peace with our enemies, not our friends.
Right.
So I would have to agree with Anthony that I feel like this is very intentional, that there is a method to this madness, or apparent madness, that the idea that Trump is some trigger-happy psycho dude behind the Oval Office, I think with time, I think it's becoming more and more of a myth, because from what we're seeing is that he's very intentional and methodical about the way that he does things. I've seen this short clip of him. He was being interviewed, and then somebody in the room was coughing as he was giving an answer, and then he had to stop, and he said, "No, let's do that again," because the coughing was in a way. So it comes to show, like, the guy analyzed it, like he knows how like show business works. He knows how like cameras and media, he knows how that works, and he has a clear message that he wants to get across, and he's not going to let coughing distract him from the message that he wants to give to the people. So yeah, I really think that there is.
What does the coughing have to do with North Korea?
What I'm saying, I'm just saying.
He was explaining Donald Trump's character, dude. Like understand.
Like he's not
man.
like the tweets that he put out, like, oh, my button is bigger than yours, stuff like
so
that.
So for sure, that's what you're saying, right? Because he cares about the spectacle of it all.
What I'm saying is that there is a method behind this. That he's not just doing this willy nilly, and then he just got lucky that Kim Jong Un caved in and decided to have like a peace meeting, so I feel like the tweets was part of his quote unquote plan, if you would say.
Now, what before I answer, what do you mean by superficial?
Superficial as in like did he actually mean the insults he gave like during on the tweets? What was he being serious, or was there something behind it? Yeah.
I think that I'm gonna disagree with you guys.
Because you like doing that?
No, because
otherwise this podcast wouldn't be interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. Someone has to disagree with someone, but I would disagree because part of me was very proud to see an American president crossing over into North Korea. But then the other part of me, and this is also comes from kind of doing some research, is that part of me is also saying that what if Trump is doing that just for show, as in just for him to show that, hey, I was the first president to cross into North Korea. What if he's actually doing this not because he actually cares about the North Korean people, not that because he actually cares about the the human rights violations that North Korea has been making in the past 70 years. But maybe he has done all of this so that he could say, once he's done in office, I was the one who sat down with North Korea, with Kim Jong Un. I was the one that crossed over into North Korea. Because let's not also forget, this whole thing, Trump was the first the American sitting president to have met with with the North Korean leader. But South Korea has met before with North Korea, and back in 2000, they met up and they said that things were going to happen, and nothing ever came into fruition. And that was almost 20 years ago. So was it great that he met with Kim Jong Un? Was it great that he crossed over into North Korean border? Yes, but I am suspicious of his motives.
Why?
Because of who Donald Trump is. As I'm using Leo's argument kind of against Donald Trump, is because Donald Trump is so calculated in the things that he says and does, is that what he actually wants to do is propel his image forward and not peace within North Korean borders and peace in the Korean Peninsula, or prosperity for the United States. I think first he's thinking of himself. How can he look good in the situation? And then maybe second, he might be saying, how can this be positive for America? And then third and lastly, if it's even third, but last on his list of priorities might be to right the wrongs that North Korea has done to its own people.
Here's the thing, though. An argument could be made that any president in his place would probably do the same thing.
Yeah, but Trump is not like other presidents. That is true. Okay, I agree with you. However, the way that Trump acts is not president-like. He does not act like a president. Even like a lot of people in the Salute to America. In the Salute to America rally on the 4th of July in D.C. that he did, a lot of people were worried about that his speech was going to be about him talking about the great things that he has done to America. And everyone, both conservatives and liberals, were very surprised by the fact that Trump did not really mention his achievements or did not talk about himself or his campaign for the presidency in 2020. So, what does that tell me? It tells me that every time that Trump speaks, he mostly talks about himself and the things that he has done to bring the country forward.
But like I said, I don't think that's really a fault, because somebody has to be the first in something. For example, Obama is going to forever be known the first black U.S. president. Hillary Clinton, if she was elected, she was going to shove down our throats that she's the first woman president.
Maybe
she did.
She didn't.
Campaign.
I don't remember her talking about campaign.
During campaign, she said that the reason why she's an outsider is because she's a woman.
But that doesn't mean that. But she wasn't saying that, hey, oh, look at me, I'm the first woman president. She was just saying that I'm an outsider because I'm a woman.
George Washington, the first president of not the United States, but like the colonies, but like he became the first president of the United States after their independence. But
but your point?
Point is that somebody's going to be the first in something. So
of course. But there's a difference between you being the first of something and you doing something to be the first of something just so that you can later be like, I was the first and that's it. Because like if these
I don't think Donald Trump is saying that.
I'm speculating. I'm not saying that. But I am questioning his motives behind meeting with Kim Jong Un and crossing the border.
Let me give you an example. Abraham Lincoln. Do you think that he did the Emancipation Proclamation because he cared about the slaves, or he wanted to preserve the Union?
Abraham Lincoln? I think a little bit of both.
No, his main priority was to preserve the Union.
But I think that he also, from his historical documents, it also showed that he actually did care. So and that's the thing.
To a certain extent, but his priority was to preserve the Union.
Preserve the Union.
But freeing slaves was his second preoccupation.
But it was still the second priority.
So
I'm questioning that
if
maybe
you're going to question Abraham Lincoln's motives, like you could argue that he didn't care to slave as much as he cared about preserving the Union. Yes, there is documents saying that he did not like the practice of slavery, but did he care about it as much as freeing the slaves?
But now here's the thing: Trump, there's no
document. He said that if he could preserve the Union without freeing the slaves, he would do it, but he can't. Because he has to free the slaves to preserve the Union.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why Abraham Lincoln did it.
Yeah, but guess what? He still cared. I don't know if Trump actually...
I can argue that,
hold on. But hold on. Let me finish. I don't know if Trump actually cares about the human rights violations that are happening in North Korea. I honestly don't think, because, again, you make a great point about Abraham Lincoln, but Abraham Lincoln and Trump are completely different people. Their moral compass is completely different. Yes, could Abraham Lincoln have had a personal stake in all of that? Sure. But I from the little bit that I know about the man and what I've read about him, I think that he actually did care about what he was doing. That yes, he of course wanted to preserve the Union, but he also did care about freeing the slaves. But Trump, again, I'm questioning, is his motive in the right place?
So where do you see that his motive is not in the right place in anything?
Because he has shown that many times in his speeches that he can be very egotistical. Very self-centered,
so
as he is the one
that would make you think that he's egotistical.
What?
What would he be saying for him to be egotistical?
About North Korea or about other things that he has said before?
Well, you're saying that he's egotistical in his speeches. So where in his speeches are you saying that he's being egotistical?
Well, there are multiple times where he will talk about things that he has done personally. How he has been a great change to America, how he's going to change things.
Does he say, I am going to change things?
Yes.
He says that?
Mm-hmm.
Fact checker, please.
I think you did. I can back up Dre on this one.
He has multiple times.
Because I just want to make sure, because sometimes we think one thing and it's completely different.
Sure, but I can stand behind that and say that there's a track record of him doing that.
But don't you think that, especially a lot of the time when somebody has to explain what he's been doing or she's been doing, is sometimes like him or her, like they have to prove to other people that they can do the job or are doing the job well.
What? Sorry, I did not understand that.
Were you paying attention?
Yes, I was paying attention.
Okay. So basically what I'm saying is sometimes people say or explain what they have done or their achievements they've made, what they are going to do, because they have to prove something to the American people or to people in general.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody like Donald Trump, where everybody was saying to him that he's not going to be a president, even from before, when he didn't even announce that he was going to do it, or even before, he continually gets bombarded by people saying that you should not be president. You cannot.
But why does he get? And that's the thing. Why he doesn't get bombarded by people that he shouldn't be president or that he's not fit, just for no apparent reason, is that people see glaring problems in his personality and his way of acting. Let's say the thing of thankfully his stunt on Twitter of saying that, hey, by the way, that is a great example. My button is bigger than yours. Mm-hmm. I have more nukes than you do. Mm-hmm. That is very egotistical way of saying things. And thank God that those tweets and his rhetoric, how do you say it?
Rhetoric.
Thank you. Rhetoric. His rhetoric. Yeah. His rhetoric with North Korea didn't backfire, and it maybe pushed us into the table once again with North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
But it could have easily backfired. And North Korea, they did give back in 2018, last year, they gave a very stern threat back to Trump. That's when Trump again messaged him again and said it again that any threat that North Korea made to the United States would be responded with fire and what was it?
I don't remember.
Something. It was like fire and something.
Fire and Fury?
Maybe something like that.
But
But he threatened North Korea like that on the spot.
Here's the thing,
this
though.
ties in closely to the second question. So do you think that these meetings that Donald Trump is having with Kim Jong Un, do you think it's a result of his leadership, or do you think this was an ongoing process and Donald Trump just happened to be president?